Hello, everyone. Welcome to F Recap, where we bring you concise summaries of your favorite movies. Today, we're diving into Soul Surfer, a film based on an incredible true story. 2003, 13-year-old Bethany Hamilton has spent her whole life in the water, dreaming of becoming a professional surfer. Born into a family of surfers, she's grown up surrounded by constant competition, thanks to her two older brothers. Even her parents are competitive, often challenging each other to see who can ride the waves better. In the Hawaiian town of Kauai, a surfing competition is underway, and Bethany, along with her best friend Alana Blanchard, is competing in the junior division. A determined competitor in black executes a flawless move, leaving Bethany frustrated. She complains to her father, saying the girl stole her wave. Her dad offers her advice on how to handle it next time. But Bethany soon proves herself in the finals, leaving her rivals in the dust. A local surfing legend predicts a bright future for her, while Melina Birch, who takes second place, is visibly upset. Bethany's victory is even sweeter when she and Alana are offered sponsorships from a sportswear brand. The girls eagerly pick out swimsuits for the regional competitions. But Melina warns Bethany she's going to crush her next time. In the evenings, local teens attend youth church gatherings. Pastor Sarah Hill is collecting permission slips for a mission trip to Mexico. Bethany, however, declines, saying she needs to focus on her training. Still, Sarah's subtle disapproval leaves Bethany feeling uneasy. Maybe helping kids in need is more important than surfing after all. One night, Alana convinces Bethany to sneak out and join a big group for some nighttime surfing. A guy named Kioke is always hanging around them. At midnight, the group sets off fireworks, and for a moment, Bethany feels completely happy and free. Of course, her mom finds out about their midnight adventure. She's Bethany's homeschool teacher, as the nearest school is an 8-hour round trip away. The next day, Alana's father, Holt, drives the girls and his son, Byron, to a remote beach with perfect waves. Meanwhile, Bethany's dad, Tom Hamilton, is scheduled for knee surgery. The group paddles far out into the water to catch some big waves. The girls chat about how great their lives are, until a shark suddenly emerges and bites Bethany. It doesn't pull her under, but the damage is catastrophic. The group quickly springs into action, heading back to shore. Bethany remains calm despite her severe injury. Her arm has been bitten off all the way up to the shoulder. She silently prays to God for strength to make it back to land. Byron races to the car to call for help. Tom's knee surgery is postponed, as the operating room is urgently needed for Bethany. Holt applies a tourniquet to her arm to slow the bleeding. Bethany's mom, Cherie, learns about the attack, while her daughter is carried on a surfboard to the car and carefully loaded into a pickup truck. On the way to the hospital, Bethany continues to lose a lot of blood. An ambulance was already on its way to meet them, and Bethany was carefully transferred inside. The paramedic urged her to stay conscious, but she began slipping into hypovolemic shock. Her mother accompanied her all the way to the operating room, while the doors closed behind her and her older brother, Noah. Now Bethany's life was in the hands of the doctors. Bethany found herself drifting toward a bright light, but the medical team managed to save her just in time. When she woke up in her hospital room surrounded by her family, her first instinct was to reach for her arm, only to realize it was gone. "It hurts," she said to her parents, "and I'm thirsty." She asked her father not to cry. Holt stopped by to visit, and Bethany's survival was thanks to his quick thinking. Alana, however, didn't come. She was still in shock. The surgeon was direct, warning Bethany that the injury would cause her immense pain and that she would face countless challenges ahead. She had lost a significant amount of blood and would need to relearn how to do almost everything. Even in this state, Bethany was already thinking about how soon she could return to surfing. Meanwhile, Noah was struggling to cope with the tragedy and ended up arguing with their father. Both girls were haunted by nightmares about sharks. Bethany also watched the news, where reporters shared the story of her attack, explaining how a shark had bitten off her arm. Alana finally came to visit her and broke down in tears. She refused to pose in swimsuits for their sponsor's photo shoot without Bethany, but Bethany encouraged her to go and represent them both. On the drive home, Bethany told her mother she planned to return to the water as soon as her stitches were removed. At home, they were met by a swarm of reporters. Noah was ready to spray them with a hose, but Tom suggested they take the back way to avoid the journalists. Now Bethany had to adjust to her new reality. Simple tasks like slicing a tomato or opening a food package became impossible. Her ukulele, which she used to love playing, now sat untouched. At dinner, Tom told her that a sponsor had offered to provide her with a high-quality prosthetic arm in exchange for a brief interview. Noah felt awkward during their family prayer when he couldn't hold his sister's hand. Bethany, meanwhile, was eager to get her prosthetic. Even small tasks like fixing her hair, putting on a swimsuit, or running errands were now overwhelming. People stared at her wherever she went, and children pointed fingers. The day came to remove the bandages. Bethany saw her arm, or what was left of it, for the first time. Both she and her mom struggled to hold back tears. When Sarah returned from her mission trip to Mexico, she asked Bethany how she was holding up. Bethany broke down, asking, "What's the point of God's plan if I've lost my arm?" One night, the entire town gathered around a massive shark that had been caught and killed. Tom compared the shark's jaws to Bethany's bitten surfboard, confirming it was the one that had attacked her. Meanwhile, Alana posed for a photo shoot for their sponsor's ad campaign, while Bethany stood to the side, watching. She didn't envy her friend at all. She envied the surfers out on the waves, enjoying the ocean she loved so much. The family urges the girl to come to breakfast quickly, but Bethany has prepared a surprise for them. Freshly squeezed juice and banana bread, though it had fallen to the floor a few times. Today, she's determined to get back in the water. Unfortunately, it's still hard for her even to stand on the board. However, the athlete doesn't give up, and after several attempts, she finally succeeds. The whole family rejoices just as much as Bethany herself. She announces her plans to prepare for the Hawaiian regional competitions. The community celebrates Thanksgiving. Tom is most grateful to spend this holiday with his daughter. Sherry takes a moment to thank Holt for saving Bethany. Has finally shown her prosthetic arm, which looks like a real hand. After putting it on, Bethany immediately heads out to test how it might help her on the board. However, the prosthetic isn't designed to handle weight-bearing activities. Due to the limited mobility of what remains of her arm, using it proves challenging. Frustrated, Bethany asks to have the artificial arm removed. Now even her Barbie doll will have only one arm. Bethany worries that, as she is, no one will ever like her, especially boys. "Everyone loves normal people," she says. To convince her daughter of her beauty, Sherry shows her a picture of the Venus de Milo, considered an ideal of female beauty worldwide, even though she's missing an arm herself. Bethany resumes training, with her entire family involved. The Hawaiian regional competitions begin. Bethany feels nauseous with nerves, but it's too late to back out now. Everyone knows she's competing. The judges offer Bethany a 5-minute head start, but she refuses to take advantage of it. Keeping up with the other competitors is difficult, and during the first wave, she can't even stand on the board. Meanwhile, Melina Birch scores big points. However, Bethany redeems herself on the next wave, performing successfully despite a few minor mistakes. Alana also puts in a solid effort. Bethany is close to first place and heads toward the largest wave. Unfortunately, it crashes over her, leaving her with no chance. Refusing help from the lifeguard, she swims toward the next wave. Melina, who is far ahead in first place, doesn't want to give Bethany even a few points. To stop her, Alana takes matters into her own hands and knocks the mean girl down instead. This move results in Alana's disqualification. But it was all for nothing. The wave ends up breaking Bethany's board. On the beach, reporters swarm her, and to make them leave her alone, Bethany simply takes off her shirt, fully exposing her stump. At the car, some kids ask for her autograph, but the disheartened athlete gives away all her surfboards instead. For her, it's over. However, her father doesn't give up. He can't imagine his daughter without surfing. Her mother fears that he'll hurt her by pressuring her too much. At sunset, Bethany confides in Tom that she doesn't know what to do with her life now. For the time being, she decides to travel with Sarah to help tsunami victims in Thailand. There, she sees broken trees, destroyed buildings, and people who have lost their homes. The group forms a line to pass bags of grain. A local woman shares how she lost her entire family during the disaster. Sarah tells Bethany that witnessing this will help her see her own life differently. The Thai people are now afraid of the water and avoid it altogether. Bethany sets a goal to calm at least one boy and takes him out to float on a board. Eventually, the other children also rush into the water joyfully. She gives confidence not only to the victims, but also to herself. Upon returning home, Bethany finds the house filled with thousands of letters from fans worldwide. Even her unsuccessful competition performance has inspired many children with similar challenges. Bethany approaches her father and firmly declares that she will compete again. But first, they need to solve one problem. She keeps falling back due to paddling through the waves. Tom has already modified her board, and the trial run proves successful. Bethany works on strengthening her only arm, doing core exercises and balance training. Over time, she becomes capable of doing one-handed push-ups. She is supported by Kyoki, who jokes that, with her single arm, the other competitors might finally have a chance. The national championship begins. Each surfer is given 25 minutes to ride a maximum of 10 waves. The scores from their two best rides will determine their final result. Bethany's father reminds her that the best surfers possess a sixth sense that helps them predict the perfect wave, and Bethany is undoubtedly one of them. Melina has dominated the competition scene, winning all three events she participated in over the past months. Her score totals far surpass those of anyone else. Bethany thanks her rival for never going easy on her, keeping the competition fierce. Bethany demonstrates incredible skill and gradually advances through the tournament bracket. She secures a spot in the final alongside her friend Alana and, of course, Melina Birch. The final heat begins at the signal. After the initial waves, Alana takes the lead, while Bethany starts to face difficulties. Melina catches a wave and earns the maximum score, putting her firmly in first place. Meanwhile, Bethany finds herself in second to last place. On another wave, Melina achieves a stunning 9.5 points, her best performance of the day. Bethany has only 5 minutes left to catch two waves and score at least 9.5 points on each attempt. Melina tries to block Bethany from catching a good wave, but Bethany outsmarts her with a clever maneuver and scores 9.7 points. Now she has only one wave left. With less than a minute remaining, the water seems calm, but Bethany senses something. She paddles forward and a massive wave begins to form in the distance. None of the other competitors dares to take it on. Bethany catches the wave just before time runs out. Her ride inside the tube is flawless. She has given everything she had to secure victory, but the judges announce that she stood up on the wave after the final horn, so her last score does not count. The new national champion is Melina Birch. However, Bethany is not discouraged in the slightest. She knows what she wants to do for the rest of her life. By the end of the competition, Bethany secures fifth place, while her friend Alana finishes second. During her victory speech, Melina declares that she shares the title with her greatest rival, as Bethany has inspired her, just as she has inspired countless others. Bethany gives an interview to the press, saying she has no regrets about going surfing on that fateful day. Otherwise, I would never have been able to touch as many lives as I can now, she says. The following year, Bethany Hamilton achieved her dream of becoming a professional surfer. She claimed first place in the National Surfing Championship. Alana Blanchard also became one of the world's leading surfers. Bethany's story continues to inspire millions of people around the globe.